Hey there, girlfriend. Ingafay here. Super excited to be here with you today. Wanted to share another one of my coaching buddies with you from the Down Under, Endre Hoffmann. He is a doctor of self-worth. So I'm sure that in itself has gotten you intrigued that you want to hear from him. So we look forward to seeing you soon, and I can't wait to share Endre with you. All right, we'll see you inside. Hey, Endre, how are you doing?
Hey, how you going?
I'm doing great. I am super excited to share you with my tribe today. We're going to talk about how to transition from self doubt to freedom and purpose. But before we get into that, I wanted you to give us some insight about what you do, who you serve, and how you serve them.
So I have business owners, business leaders normally, but moms are included finally because I think they run businesses and they have so many people. So these people or business owners experience inner struggle, self-doubt, feeling exhausted, working hard, and normally have these negative thinking patterns, voices in their heads. So I create fast and rapid psychological transformations. That's my passion. I remove the internal conflict or struggle from their mind to achieve confidence and peace within. I have a group, I have one-on-one transformations, and I reconnect them to their authentic leadership and naturally high self-worth. They normally, as a result, multiply their impact in life and business, and normally in the community. Shortly,
Awesome.
that's me.
So, give us a little bit of your backstory. I'm sure that you probably had some trials and tribulations as you were building your businesses. Tell us about that and how that led you to do what you do today.
So I started up as a normal family in Budapest, Hungary, and unfortunately I didn't connect with my father well,
Mm,
and it was very critical to be at home, always finding faults, walking on eggshells, and probably I have had to deal with all of this, and I took on the decisions or beliefs that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worth it, or he didn't love me, and it
right.
started to externalize into my life, every area
Mm,
of life from that point. Every possible way to overcome this challenge. And as I said before, I spent over $100,000 to remove this trauma in my life. I traveled 60 countries. I
wow.
searched out spiritual gurus in many countries. So
Mm,
hopefully they will have the answer, but it didn't come from outside.
wow. So, you spent over 100 grand to figure this thing out. You were dedicated. So, tell me, what was your lowest point?
The lowest point was here in Australia about 6 years ago. Uh, I had a hard working pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
I worked about 15, 16 hours a day. I had a
Mm,
side hustle and I had my own business,
wow.
my job to pay the bills. And we had the second children born. And my wife said, well, you're not at home, you're not present.
Wow.
She said, you become your dad. I said, well, I
Mm,
know, but I've been doing everything to avoid it. And this was a day when I almost caused an accident because I was working nights to make more money. And my children, I normally tried to read bedtime stories for my kids. And at times it has become a slapping competition because I always allowed them to slap me in the face if I fell asleep.
oh,
And
wow.
again, it has happened multiple times. Normally I just crashed on the floor and fell asleep there. And this time she said, well, what if you just don't come home and we just separate because you're not here anyway. It's not going to make much of a difference. And that was the point when I said, well, something fundamentally have to change in me or in my mindset. And I went and said, no more excuses. If this is the last thing I'm going to resolve in my life, then it would be my mind or my emotions or whatever I'm struggling with because of my childhood. And I found a one on one mindset specialist who was able to unlock my potential within about 6 to 12 months.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Now, was that part of the 100 grand that you spent, or was that after that 100 grand that you spent?
Well, it was after, so it's a bit more, but this has worked, and that's such a difference for me. See, I think the most expensive thing is the money you spend on things that does not bring you the results that you're looking
Right.
for.
Right.
And I do have, I've learned a lot, and probably this 100 grand has helped me to pick or put together the pieces of the puzzle. How now I'm able to help. First, I find those uncovered limitations or unconscious limitations in people,
Right.
and then I have a process to shortcut these self-worth transformations, and that includes obviously confidence and
Right.
having certainty inside to be able to show up in life and take action.
Exactly. See, he said that, and I didn't even coach him to say that, y'all. He said, take action. You know, I'm all about taking action, not just learning something just for the mere fact of learning it, but actually doing the work, implementing it, and putting it into action. So love, love, love that you said that. Now, I know that during this period of time that you were in direct sales companies, I know we had talked about this briefly. If I remember correctly, I think you told me that you were in three. Now, you don't have to share the three with us, but what was the thing that actually led you to want to start a direct sales business?
Freedom. I was, my goal was to have an inspiring life, to become an
Right.
inspiring father, and not having to go to 9 to 5 job or any type of job when I'm not in charge of my time or how I spend it or whoever I'm spending it with. That was the drive.
Right. Right.
Action in the right mindset
Right.
is going to get you results if you are listening to us. Because I have been taking action for 25 years, and that type of action has brought me no breakthrough and not what I wanted. Or if I had some type of temporary success, it has collapsed.
Interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that's a nugget. That's a golden nugget that I don't want to go past. I would love for you to elaborate on so we could get a little bit more insight on what you mean.
If you make it short, you need to grow as a person, and you need to have a self-image. Some call it self-worth, self-image, and identity that is able to take success. Unfortunately, this fear of success is real
Right.
for a lot of people. When we have let's say, an environment where the rich or people who, get results are seen as not welcome,
Right.
then the subconscious mind operates on a lot of people to play small. And that was me.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So this last mentor or coach that you actually worked with, how did they transition you from playing small to really playing big, or really having those big audacious goals for you to bring to fruition?
Well, it was small and bigger breakthroughs, realizations that the past has been controlling me. I didn't know how that happened. And these are done through normally limited beliefs. And as glue, there is normally negative emotions attached to it. I was angry at myself for taking action and not getting results. I was angry with my dad, and probably I took on my father's anger. And this has to shift inside. Of course, I had these voices in my head. They're not good enough. Why is this happening to me? Now, that is a very disempowering question. Because, see, at that point, you send out your mind to ask and find every reason why you're not getting results. Well, this is a supercomputer. It will tell you 100 reasons why. But I can tell you, you will really feel down in the rabbit hole after that.
Right.
So it's teaching you how to use the mind. And when you get the formula through this work, and you start to use your mind as you've never used it before,
Mm-hmm.
it will unlock your clarity,
Mm-hmm.
purpose, creativity. There's so much on the way when there is this new peace start to settle into your head. It's a
Interesting.
different living.
Cool. Now, is that how you actually came up with your brand because of this transformation that you had with this new coach that helped you transform your small thoughts to big and audacious goals that you could actually bring to fruition?
And what a good question. I'm the luckiest person in business because this brand has come from my clients. They
Ah,
started to call me the doctor because I've sort of got a precision to eliminate those limitations or limiting beliefs. I help them to disidentify from, these ideas that have
mm-hmm.
been playing out in their lives, and I have a process to make that fairly fast. And I think I'm not. What I see is that traditional therapy or traditional psychology can take, well, years or decades. I hear from people. It
Right.
doesn't need to be.
Mm, interesting. So, Dr. Self-Worth came from your client. It says a lot about what you've actually helped them do, if that's what they are coining you as the doctor of self-worth. What kind of clients do you normally work with?
I work in three time zones, including, the US time zones, and most of them reach out to me or they get referred. When I get great results, then people seem to just gravitate towards me. And
Right.
at times they love to know about all the free content. So I have an educational channel on YouTube as well. It's at Dr. Selfworth, or
Awesome.
that's what it's called. And hashtag Dr. Selfworth will pretty much give you access to some of the content that I create on multiple social media platforms. So yeah, I mean, I give free because I believe this information should not be unavailable. But
Right.
there is a big noise in social media, I believe, and sometimes it's really hard to figure out which is true and
Right.
which is marketing
Right.
and no actual mechanics or results behind it. So I always believed in, yeah, checking reviews and see if you're going out and asking for help or looking for help, then really do your research because you really want to work with someone who gets results, not
Exactly.
not who's promising things for you. And even maybe even look at, well, kind of money back guarantee. If if you're not getting what you want, then at least you're not wasting your resources, time, and money.
Right. And I'm sure since you have experienced that for yourself, you know that firsthand for sure. So I'm curious, how do you survive and help folks now?
Well, I used to survive for about 34 years in these limiting patterns, but now I'm thriving. So
I know that's
I
right.
all day, every day, I have deep conversations, and deep conversations change lives. They bring
Yes.
new consciousness, and these are my kind of first sessions where people reach out to me, and in itself, they are, I believe, life changing because when one does not know what's holding him or her back, well, that's a
Right.
big one. Awareness, number one. And then I just normally check with them, are they committed to the process? Are they ready for this? I only work with committed people. And then I have these wonderful interviews like yours. I
Right.
have
Mm.
my two children here, and we're going to travel for a year in Europe starting in March. So
Oh,
there's a
awesome.
lot happening around me.
Right. Cool. You made a comment that you say you only work with those that are committed. What is your signal that someone is committed? Because I know sometimes people think commitment comes through somebody actually paying for something. And I know from experience, even with the clients that I've dealt with, just because somebody pays for something does not mean that they're committed.
Mm.
So tell me your definition of commitment. How do you know that when you talk to someone?
It is to do whatever it takes. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm looking for in those, free conversations, because I see no point in taking someone's money and not deliver results. And as I
Exactly.
said, it's not necessarily their fault, although I have ways to increase commitment levels.
Right.
But some people are not ready. And I had a few clients who showed up a year after that, hey, it's bad enough. I'm ready.
Right.
And unfortunately, human psychology, it looks like pain and struggle is necessary to then drop plan B and C and finally commit to the work, the inner work, or
Right.
a psychological transformation. And unfortunately, as I said, this has happened to me as well.
Right.
There's a few people out there and they're amazing. They are inspired by a new future and they are somehow coming from a new planet and they are ready to do the work. I'm so amazed, and I've lost so many years and decades not doing it.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, this has been a great talk. Do you have any final thoughts that you would want to share with us before we go?
Well, change is possible, and I'm talking about every area of your life, and you will need to have a new mindset run your life. And it will not take $100,000. It will take commitment, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to show up to it and get someone who is able to help you,
Right.
and then see the magic. When the inner starts to change, you will see it externalized into new relationships,
Right.
money, opportunities, and probably partnerships, and new partner if that's what you're looking for.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to bring up your website here. So if they wanted to get in contact with you, I know you told me you had an ebook. Tell us a little bit about that.
The ebook has exercises in it to create awareness for you, to really uncover your hidden limitations. Because I find that 90% of the people out there wouldn't know what is actually holding them back. And it has a few, a part of my journey as well, a bit more in detail. And most importantly, you'll be able to uncover who you really are and
Right.
then start that transformation that I'm talking about, which is awareness, finding you under all of the conditioning and programming, moms, dad, school teachers, and all of
Right.
the suggestions that you may have taken on and you're not aware of.
Right. Right. I loved how you brought it all together, that it's not just about business, it's really about life transformation. That as a result of getting more in tune with yourself and changing your mindset, it's not only going to affect your business, but it's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your life in general. If you have another job, it's going to affect that as well. I just love the fact that you brought it all together like that. And I'm just curious. I know that you've been in direct sales. What made you invest in yourself outside of your direct sales company? Because I hear often that people are just going to get the training from their upline. But I was just curious, what made you venture out?
Well, I realized I have my own limitations, and it has, remember, it has played out in every area of life. It has
Yeah.
played out for me in relationships. I couldn't connect with people. I had social anxiety. I had all of these public speaking. I thought, no, no way. I would have loved that. Someone said to me that I would have interviews, and this is where I find people stuck at times in relationships. At times it's not to do with the business.
Right.
Some people are not able to receive love. Then if you can't receive love, probably you won't be able to receive money, energy. You are out of balance of giving and receiving. So
Right.
at times I'm not even working on business. Health times.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Endre, on sharing your words of wisdom with us. And you guys, for those of you that are watching, Indre's information will be down in the description. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down. You can just kind of click the link in the description. You'll be able to go directly to his ebook, which is free, y'all. He's giving it to you for free. And if you want to connect with him, the website will still be an excellent resource for you to connect with him with all his other social media handles down in the description. So, Endre, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us today. And for everyone else, thanks for watching and bye for now.
Thank you. Wonderful.